Well, that, ladies and gentlemen, who is actually going to watch this, that is my tag team partner, Big D.
What?
And now you all know what I got to put up with.
It's been warm today. Very
Yes.
bloody warm.
It may have been warm, but I think it's someone might have turned you a bit nuts.
Well, I'm topless, but I'll keep the camera like here, So
Oh no, by all means, take it down a bit if you really want to.
no, I'm not doing it. No.
Right, so today on CueBall's Bearded Rambles, I am doing this the hillbilly way. I am doing the meeting through a laptop and recording it off my phone because I just don't know how these things work yet. My guest, as if you haven't guessed already, because I've already said his name, is Big D, my tag team partner, who he is the current RWS and CWF tag team champion.
Double champion.
World champion, whatever you want to call it. So, how the devil are you, Big D? Been a while.
Warm, very warm. It's been really, really warm today.
It has, yeah.
Yeah, a little bit sweaty, a little bit sort of, I'm back in my normal job, and it's it's nice to be home, put my feet up, and then I'm missing all the wrestlers, and I especially miss my tag team partner.
Oh, that's nice. That's nice. I miss you too, man. Sorry, I should have said I miss you too, shouldn't I?
Too late now. He forced it.
Better late than never. That's what she said. Do you know what? I'm taking this off. It's too hot. It's too hot.
Why are we wearing a hat in this weather? You're wearing that hat.
Because I'm an idiot. That's why.
Nah. So how are you doing, bud?
Not bad. Breathe in. Miss wrestling. Miss kicking people's asses. Miss choke slamming them. Then for you to squash them after and then get the pin. Missing it, man. But yeah, I'm alright though. I'm not bad. So, let's start with the questions. We have 40 minutes to do this, so hopefully we can do it.
Did you get any questions?
No. Anyway, it's okay. No. It's okay because I have my own questions. It was just in case anybody really wanted to join in. So I always start with my guests. The starter question is, what made you get into wrestling and why? And where did it all begin with you? With Big D?
I think I've always sort of, been into wrestling as a kid, watched on TV, at my age, Sky was on a little switch on the wall. It wasn't even a Sky box, it was a little sort of click, click, click thing, Sky One, Sky Movies, Sky Sports.
Yeah.
And Sky Sports was the first time I'd ever seen any wrestling at all. And there were sort of, like Panini cards, like sort of, they were coming out of the newsagents. So that was my first sort of experience of wrestling as a kid. Just the American stuff. Didn't really know about the British scene, world of sport.
Yeah.
And then sort of knew about that later. But to get into it, it was back in 2005 that I actually did my first attempt at training in wrestling. Me and a friend had gone to see Sabu was in a show in Frome for 4FW.
Oh, yeah.
Talking to a nutter in tweed with lots of badges on. A lot of people would know who he was. Who was very much around in world sport, who told us no end of stories. And we found out, obviously, they did training in 4FW in Swindon.
Yeah.
And at the time, I'd work all week, travelled out to Swindon, me and my mate Rich. 3 or 4 hours training, travel back, go back the next Saturday is all we could do. And my job changed. Someone quit their job at the place I worked, and my day off went from Saturday to Monday. And that was it. The only experience I'd had in a ring at all back in 2005 was there was a Yellow Chopper Festival in Margam Park.
Right.
And I ended up being the ref. Because I went down to be the cameraman and crew and put the ring up.
Yeah.
But the ref didn't turn up. So I ended up being the ref. My first time in a ring in a show was in the middle of a field surrounded by bikers. And
so like WCW's Hog Wild kind of thing then?
It felt like it, yeah, definitely. I was actually wearing sunglasses like these because the sun was that bright. I couldn't see a damn thing. And I tapped the mat so hard I sprained my wrist. I couldn't drive home properly. So
Wow.
literally, I couldn't change gear properly, and it's just sort of
Damn.
But then fast forward 2017, so only been 3 years. Um, Taking my kids, forgotten all about. I still love watching wrestling, played it on the PlayStation, that type of stuff, and took my kid to a play school near us, and what I thought was one of the dads, Mr. Scott Ollis, you know who that is.
Yeah. I know
I
Scott.
thought he was picking up his son, but it was actually his brother. And then he told me, we mentioned wrestling, watching TV, I mentioned it, and he said, "Oh, there's a training place up in Blackwood."
Yeah.
And I went, "Seriously?" From where I live, couldn't believe it. Well, half an hour away, or less. And so I messaged another person we know, Russell Price, the Dangerous,
Dangerous.
to ask him, would he go to an industrial unit in Blackwood? And he didn't even say why. I just said, bring gym gear. And he said yes. He didn't even, I didn't even tell him it was wrestling to start with.
Yeah.
And that's turned up at KPWA.
Shout out.
Yeah, I'll plug anything. I will.
Yeah. No, that's fine. That's one of the things I'm going to say at the end.
Oh, fair. And but yeah, I said it before. I'm fully expecting the trainers there to basically laugh my old fat ass out the front door. I just turn around and go, and he didn't. Andrew, James, and Luke, the trainers, they basically said, "Right, get your ass in." Sat me in, Russ down, told us to get in the warm up, and it took me nearly an hour to do the warm up, which normally takes 10 minutes.
Yeah.
And my old fat ass, and I swear I nearly died there before I even got near the ring. But it didn't put me off. I thought, if I was 35 when I started, I'm 38 now, so
Yeah.
I was old to start with and very extremely unfit, still unfit. But genuinely, my goal wasn't to sort of star on any kind of promotion or anything. It was to simply have a match, and that was my first. That would have been March 2017 we started.
Yeah.
We first got in a Rumble, I think, in the June.
Yeah.
Put us in for a couple of minutes, where I had to convince Russ to calm down because he was a bit nervous, excited.
Yeah.
He said, "You're in there for 3 minutes, 2 or 3 minutes. Someone will throw us out. That's it. Just don't worry about it. There's so many people in there. The crowd have got to focus on everybody." And then the trainer and the promoter who was helping at the time, Nige, pulled me aside and said, "Right, we want you in the last 3." And I nearly shat my pants. Can I swear?
Yeah. Crack on, man.
Oh,
Fucking
yeah,
go for it. There we go.
Yeah. But yeah, I thought, oh, good God, so I ended up in the last 3 to sort of put someone over in my first sort of experience in the ring. And but my first match was it was in November of that year.
Yeah.
It was against 2 people. It was against Razor Storm. We know him.
Yeah. Justin
You
Powell
mentioned
now.
ring names, CueBall.
Sorry?
Do we mention?
No. Go by ring names. We'll go ring names. Keeping the kayfabe
well,
alive and all,
It was Razor Storm, and it was Crimson something.
Crimson Eclipse.
Crimson Eclipse. You see, they've all got long names.
Yeah. Durex. He was there build that day.
Durex. I wasn't going to say that one, but yeah, the promoter decided to call it Durex. So we had Razor Storm and Big D and Durex in the ring on my debut match, where thankfully they put me over. And,
Yeah.
The trainer Andrew said, "Just you got to be loud. When you walk out there, you got to be loud." And I walked through the curtains, and I don't, what am I going to do? And I just sort of yelled my head off, walked around the ring, and halfway through the match, I blew my voice. So it was either full volume or nothing.
Yeah.
I couldn't speak for 4 days after that.
Really?
And I can speak. I talk a lot of bollocks, and it was that was my first experience of a match, and it was extremely addictive. I think I was bouncing for days after that. Oh my God, I finally did it, and that was my bucket list moment. That was at have a match, even if it was just a training match.
Yeah.
And okay, where do we go from there? And then it was sort of, so 3 years later, then I've wrestled for various places over South Wales and England, and with yours truly, the camera in front of me, we're now double tag team champions in Cirencester Wrestling Federation and Ring Wrestling Stars.
Well, the way things are well, I mean, the way things are going, I think we're going to be the longest reigning.
Yeah,
in each company.
It's an accolade, on the technicality, but it's an accolade.
Yeah, well, it is what it is. I mean, if we could defend them right now, I would happily defend them. But
that's the one thing I wanted to do. Was just I didn't want to. I know CWF is a charity show, and they were planning on doing new shows this year.
Yeah.
CWF Extra, and everything has gone out the window so far this year. So I
Yeah.
hope they've defended them more. But it's see how it goes. You never know. We might get a chance towards the end of the year.
Yeah, hopefully. So yeah, so that was your that's your background, how you got into wrestling and why and all that mumbo jumbo. So did you have anything before? Because I know you mentioned 4FW. Did you have anything with them? Did you do any training with them, or was it?
Train. It was for a couple of months with them. They used to turn up at a church in Swindon, and we had to help unload the van, put the ring up.
Yeah.
Where me and Rich, being the size we are, when we ran the ropes back and forward, we actually made the ring move across the floor. We had to stop doing it because it kept coming off the pads. I was scratching the floor.
Right.
But we met Martin Pierce.
Yeah, I know him.
His partner Alex, who were training there, and they started their own thing up called EPWE. And basically, because Martin made his own rings and went on to become Wrestling Rings UK, he had a ring set up in an industrial unit, not unlike KPW, right up in Blackwood, and we would go back and forward there for 5 hours on a Saturday every weekend, and just sort of, I managed to break one of his rings as well, even back then. We were all stood on a corner on the bottom rope each. We had to jump off onto the mat and then go up in the middle rope, and then we were sort of jumping. And I was like, when the other three people stood on the corners, I jumped, and the ring holding the rope burst.
Oh.
So instead of jumping, I went poof, hit the ground like a sack of spuds. And, so even back then, I know I kind of sort of taken the moniker on of the ring breaker. I've done a few sort of numbers to people's wrestling rings. Even back then, 13 years ago, or whatever, 15 years ago, crying out loud. I was starting that out just even back then.
That's cool. So you've, like I say, we just heard about your past and how you got into it. You were done a bit of training with 4FW. So, what is your goals? What is your goals? What are your goals after this whole lockdown quarantine thing ends? What do you want to do? What does Big D want to go and do after?
I've always been grateful to any promotion that will put me in a ring and give me a chance to sort of perform. So it was never a specific goal. I like to wrestle for other promotions, expand the places I've wrestled, and I've got to wrestle for a few different ones last year. It builds up, and then this year was meant to be even busier. VCW started back up again in February. That was a really good show. We enjoyed that. Then we had RWS in Blandford Forum, and an amazing hall.
Oh, amazing.
I loved that building. And from then it was supposed to be, it seemed to be sort of, I mean, I don't do many matches or shows because of my day job, because we're kids and family, and I don't know at my age.
Yeah.
But it was looking like it was going to be wrestling every weekend for months.
Yeah.
It was at different places, and then it all came to a halt with the current sort of crisis going on in the world. It all sort of, everyone just went gone.
Yeah.
But I'd like to start, get back into that. Hopefully, maybe September, October, things kick back in again. Start doing shows again. But I think I'd like to hold a top belt in the promotion someday. I think I think we'd all like that. But genuinely, so I'm just happy to get a chance to perform. Either to entertain or wind the crowd up. Depending on what we're doing. And, usually both at the same time. So
it is.
Yeah. But generally, see how I go with my age, my size, and I get to do sort of stuff that I didn't think I never thought would be possible. 3 years ago, I genuinely I wrestled all over the place. I wrestled different people. I've wrestled you a few times.
Back in the day.
Back and forward, and see how it goes. I've always been to take it day by day, and then just sort of see what opportunities come up, and then be ready.
Yeah. Not bad answer at all. So you've been on Sky TV, haven't you?
Yeah. What? Yeah.
Well, I say you. I mean we.
We did, yeah.
What was that like? I mean, windy, yeah.
I think to this day, it had the longest entrance I've ever had where it was what was the place called again? It
Far
was
Far Forest Country Show.
part. It was a country show thing, but the changing rooms were one end of this entire sort of two lengths of a rugby field. We had to walk through the fair, through the country park,
That's right.
to the middle to get to the ring. It genuinely probably a longer entrance than a WrestleMania entrance. It was just sort of that, trying to get down there, and it was interesting. You know, it was one of the first times I wrestled in England,
Yeah.
and I didn't know what to expect. I didn't know whether there's going to be a crowd at all, what people would be interested in, and we seemed to sort of get their attention.
Yeah. You did a
It
job.
was, you know, it was a different style ring as well. So it was interesting to sort of take on different sort of, you know, experience different size rings, different types. I mean, he's got an older ring,
Yeah.
and so I was worried I could put my foot through the floor of it.
Yeah. I know.
Even after I dumped your ass and you choke slammed me during those, we didn't break it. So somehow it's held test of time. You know.
Like I say, on that choke slam, I believed I sort of went down with you as well. So
Pretty much, yeah. So, and at the time, you were a heavier fella. You're getting skinny on me now. I mean, what was that thing I saw on your fit? Man of the Year?
Yes, Slim and World Man of the Year 2020.
Well, I'm going to tell you a little secret. I actually won Man of the Year as well for Slim and Will about 5 years ago. But on default, I was the only man in the entire group.
That's kind of the way it works for me, to be honest. But I didn't say that.
Yeah, but at least you lost a lot of weight. You know, I was only there for 5 weeks, and they gave it to me because that's the time of the year they were doing the awards.
Yeah.
So mine didn't count. Yours counts, mate.
Yeah, yes and no, but that's.
I mean, how much weight have you lost altogether? Come on, you skinny bastard.
Skinny. It was 3.5 stone. I lost altogether, and then during this lockdown, I went off the diet for a bit, for about 5 weeks, and then last week was my first proper week back.
Yeah.
And I lost 11 pounds in a week.
You left and leaving a stone in 1 week.
Yeah.
I think I've lost a stone in the last 2.5 weeks, but that's mainly sweat and water because I've been delivering so much.
Yeah.
And I've stopped working, so I'm getting some training, but it's hefting massive boxes around. That's what I'm doing.
Still something doing it. Still
Yeah.
something. Cool. So, promotions. When all this lockdown finishes, where would you like to go? Me personally, I'd love for us to be able to get down to Coventry Pro.
That would be awesome. I mean, I've heard some good things about Coventry Pro. I mean, a few of the guys we know train with, they wrestle up in Coventry or have wrestled up in Coventry Pro.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't mind giving that a whirl. I mean, I at the end of Christmas last year, I managed to do SWW. You know, we've done RWS, did Immortal Wrestling.
Yeah.
And then obviously with the stuff I'm doing with Johnny, with the shows we're doing in Bather near us. So we had 2 shows we did last year with Slam Masters, and we were supposed to have 3 shows, one in March, April, and May.
Yeah.
And so I'd like to sort of expand that more as well and get your bald head on there with me. Yeah.
Well, that's if we can come to a nice agreement.
Oh, yeah, it's always about that, isn't it? Yeah. I mean...
What it is, I don't just turn up to these things. Well, sometimes I do just turn up to one because I feel like it. I feel like someone needs a good ass kicking. But it is, maybe one time you might need a tag team partner to come up and back you up or something.
Yeah, I don't see a problem with that.
But yeah, once all this shit ends, then maybe I will be coming up.
Aye.
Who knows?
Money.
Oh, not necessarily money. I mean, it could be beers, but I'm not really drinking at the moment, so coffee.
Exactly. Okay, I know. What was the Slim in World bar? The sort of cheap bars, like 2 cents each. The lemon ones are always a thing for them.
I can't remember. They're called hi-fi bars, but I can't remember how many sins they are. I don't know. This is not the time to be speaking about Slim and World, okay? I know you go off. This is not Big D's.
What?
somewhat of a bearded Rambles. This is a
You
CueBall's
said
bearded
Rambo.
Rambles.
Like I got a tiny bit of a beard. This is
That's what I mean. Mini bearded Rambles.
Yeah, I got the mustache going. I can almost twist it up now. Which I was like, yeah, and,
I got
but
somewhat.
yeah, I can't. I've almost got to the point where I can twist it up. I'm not quite John. I'm not quite Millard. With his mustache.
Yeah.
But that takes a lot of training. That is. Yeah.
Opponents.
Hit me with another question. Go on.
Go on. Opponents. Who do you want to face? So all right. So let's put this down to specific promotions. RWS.
Yeah.
Who would you like to face?
Logan.
Why?
Well, we've been kicking the ass of Dogs of War for quite a while. I mean.
No. They're not Dogs of War. They're Dogs of War. You know this.
Fine, Dogs of War. But we've proven that we can kick their asses, and then.
Well, when Ryan turns up, anyway.
Well, yeah. Even when he keeps bringing in other people to sort of take place, we had Brooksy in there, and he did well, but he lost.
Brooksy,
Kenny
Man,
one of them. Yeah.
Thundercat, Darren Brown.
I think for RWS, I wouldn't mind a crack at Logan's title. Or a certain other masked person with a belt. It'd be nice to add another belt to our collection.
Yeah, I mean, maybe you could go with you could go against Kevin Fury for the title and win, and I could go against Logan for the title and win, or
all the gold.
Yeah.
Come on.
Do you know what? We'll even take out Cat Von Cage as well and go for the women's title. Why not?
Well, I don't know. I got the I got the cleavage. I could put that together. Possibly it'd be disturbing. No one want to watch it. Jesus Christ, no. But
you got long hair, so I think you'd pull it off. Whereas I can't.
Can I shave this off? Would that change it? I don't know. I mean, it'd freak people out.
Right, so you want to go against Logan for the title?
Yeah, give it a crack,
Yeah. Even though we're supposed to be doing that tournament when we go back to RWS for his title. And a lot of people do want me and you to go up against each other.
Yeah, but we've been up against each other.
No, but it's what the people want.
Well,
So I'm gonna tell you, D, I know we're tag team partners and we somewhat love each other and all that crap. But I won't hesitate to kick your ass. I've done it before, and I will do it again.
Yeah, but I've also kicked your ass before.
Once.
Do it again. Yeah. Wow.
And that was because I didn't kick out, obviously.
Like I said, if it came down to us two for a belt, then all bets are off for kick each other's asses.
Yeah. Unless we're going to do Hogan and Nash.
You could do, yeah. I'm not sure we want to do some sort of freebird rules with a belt. I'm not sure. But...
Oh, honestly, man. So if I was to win, it would be our belt, not just mine. It'd be ours, and the same with you. I think it'd be ours.
If we get Kevin, we'll get Mr. Fury's belt, and we'll get Logan's belt, and just it'd be like a nice big stockpile of it right in the middle.
That'd be nice. That'd be lovely. Yeah. So CWF opponents or opponents, whatever.
I don't mind anybody. I'd like to teach that sort of Thunder Kitty a bloody lesson.
It's Thunder Twat. If you're going to say it probably Thunder Twat. So if he listens to this, he's going to hear what I said.
I like to teach him a lesson, mainly because I want his sword. Come on, I was born in 81, I grew up with Thundercats, and that has a nice sword, and he doesn't deserve it. So I don't care about his belt, his Thundercat belt thing. I want the damn sword. So I wouldn't mind kicking his ass just to take that out when he ain't ever getting it back.
Well, that's what you think.
He's got to go out. I'm not bringing it back with me. It's going home.
Yeah, sorry, TC. I lost it.
Oh, I didn't know. Yeah.
So your dream match or your dream opponent, who out of anybody you can think of right now, living or passed away, who would you like to have a shot against?
I don't know. It's one of the things that people always talk about with dream opponents or where they dream to sort of wrestle, and it's I don't know. I mean, if you could pick off any, I'd love to wrestle Mick Foley as Mankind.
Okay.
That kind of thing. I mean, as a tag team, I'd love to wrestle the Road Warriors.
Yeah.
Us two against them, in the heyday and sort of all the Dudley Boys. Yeah. That would be mental. I would enjoy that. It would hurt like an absolute bitch, but that would
I was
be.
going through the table. I would love to go through that table.
Yeah, but you know they put me through the damn table. It just for fun, just for the effect.
I think you get more of a pop if you was to go through.
Yeah, several down my spine probably. But
Yeah.
and yeah, I mean, I've never really had a specific dream one. I mean, obviously people said like the Undertaker or Foley.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, British wrestling wise, I don't. I would. I mean, I would coach my coach Andrew James. Oddly, I mean, that sounds weird to say that. I've seen video of him wrestling back in the 90s,
Candyman.
and just a chance to wrestle him.
Yeah.
It sounds weird option, but you know,
No.
there's a lot of guys. You know,
Trainee versus trainer.
yeah, I wouldn't mind that. That'd be a nice one. But again, I just sort of with wrestling, I just take it as it comes. I mean, the biggest name I've wrestled to date, who's pretty well known, was Big Grizz.
Yeah.
And that I was.
Could you argue that though?
What?
Could you argue that? Because you also went against Ryder Guy for Southwest Wrestling. And he's quite well known now because of his Britain's Got Talent malarkey.
I know that.
So could you argue that?
I don't know, yeah, but I think Grizz is a bigger name, more established. I think between the two. I like Ryder Guy, but he hasn't been wrestling for long. I mean, Grizz has been around for 10 years now.
Well, Grizz was around when I was running promotions. And that was 2012. And I think that was his first year just starting out.
Yeah, I mean, I think Ryder Guy was an unusual one. When they rang me up and said, would I face him? I went, you want me to face a postman? And then I looked online and sort of saw the videos of him sort of on a news, like a breakfast morning thing.
Yeah.
And I went, okay, who the hell is this guy? And I thought I would teach him a lesson, you know, and it didn't exactly go the way I wanted it to. But he's a bit of a jacked fella, you know.
Yeah.
But
muscles and everything.
Oh yeah, but Grizz is a beast, and that's probably like the most nervous I've been before a match, just because I've seen his matches, I've seen the size of him. You know, he's a big dude. But he can shift as well.
Yeah.
So probably the biggest name I've faced so far.
Nice.
And it could be something like that. Anybody. It always seems to be sort of things come by surprise.
Yeah.
I think, you got to be facing this person. I think, oh, okay. And,
yeah.
But yeah, just sort of anybody. Give me anybody.
Okay. Anybody. So there's your answers. If any promoters are watching, Big D will he'll have anybody. All right. So your lowest points in your career so far, if you want to go into detail.
I haven't had much of a career. Well, it's.
In your time in your time of wrestling.
Yeah. I think like end of 2018, there's politics going back and forth between sort of here and there and stuff going on where it just sort of felt uncomfortable and stressful. But thankfully, I haven't experienced a lot of negativity in wrestling so far.
Yeah.
And so the end of 2018 was a bit sort of. I kept coming back home sort of depressed or stressed from shows.
All right.
And it was, I think I wasn't sure at Christmas time where I was going to carry it on. I just ordered new gear. My gear I wear now. At the time, I was wearing really basic stuff. I mean, there was a singlet with a t-shirt over it just because of the size of me. And I think it was that Christmas that sort of really turned it around because there's a company up in Rushden that make wrestling boots, Ringside Boots, I think. Is it? And
yeah.
A lot of people have recommended them, and my dad's actually from the same area. Got up to see my nan at the time, she's passed away now. But I rang the guy basically because of the size of my legs. I thought it's rather than sending measurements online, I would basically say. I rang him, being cheeky. Said, "I'm nearby. Is it possible? Could you measure me my calves because the calves are huge?" And then just to get some proper boots. And I thought if I don't get proper boots and sort of the proper gear coming through at the same time, I didn't think everything was going to happen. I thought that's it, really. You know, it was all going downhill.
Yeah.
And instead of telling me it'd take him 2 months, he said this is on the Saturday, and I was going back home on the Sunday, he messaged me to say, give me a ring. He said, I'll give you a ring about 1:30 the next day. And I said, okay, he's going to give me a timeline. And he rang me by 11:30 and he'd already made them.
Nice.
So within a day, he made my boots. Because I paid in cash as well, that helped. And he was going to Spain for a fortnight, I think, after that.
Yeah,
so
I was lucky.
Maybe he really wants to spend money. But he measured my calves, and he said that the last person that he measured with calves anywhere near that size was Giant Haystacks. Because
Really?
He's done boots for all the guys like 50 years. He's done boots for boxing for Lennox Lewis. And
All right.
I mean, I'd like to be like 7 foot tall, like Haystacks was.
Yeah.
But I think having the boots suddenly, and then having my gear coming from Ireland, where it ordered from, I suddenly felt I looked the part, and that changed it around. So from being low down, thinking, "Oh, this isn't gonna be a thing," and I had some good moments, but it was just sort of if I was gonna carry on.
Yeah.
And then 2019 just turned it around.
Which will go into my next question. What are your highest points?
I think one highest point, obviously, is winning my first belt with you at Cirencester Wrestling. I was the first, I never expect anyone to put gold on me. Like I said, just be glad to be in a ring. But that's one of my high points, is of first winning the belts. I think that's going to be, to really sort of cement what I'm doing. A promotion's done that. And then obviously the second belt. So we're dual champions for 2 different promotions.
Yeah.
So that's a highlight. And I think my first match, back to that, my first debut match, that was a massive sort of high point. But for last year, I think one of the biggest things was another wrestler who I know in the area, who also trained up in Blackwood. We were all talking jokingly about running our own show, and it started off as banter, and then we just thought about, could we do it? We've been in enough shows, we know how it goes, we know the logistics of it, and then we just thought, let's just see if we can do a show in last July at the rugby club where we live in Bather. We did our first show. We had a nearly packed out room. It's not a big room, but we had a crowd that was really reactive to the wrestlers over there, and I couldn't believe how well it went. I mean, we had certain expectations or hopes of how it would go, but it was just, we'd never expected it to go as well as it did. And then we ended up doing a second show in October. And we're supposed to have our 3rd, 4th, and 5th show this year. Yeah. Obviously, that's not going to happen just yet. But that was a massive sort of just to sort of try and do that and see if we could pull it off, and we did. But I think we've becoming an established tag team partner with you for RWS. I'm really enjoying it. I love RWS.
Yeah, I love them. Great.
Just the atmosphere, the having fun as well as entertaining.
Yeah.
I think, and we've had good matches, and we've had other matches we thought we could have gone better.
Yeah.
The last one, I think, the one in Blandford Forum, the last one we did before lockdown, just to go there and have that building was, and then the crowd, we didn't know what kind of crowd we get because it was a new place for us.
Yeah.
And we had quite a few people in, and they reacted to us. They were well up for it.
Yeah.
And we were making them laugh and made them sort of boo us and all that, and we did our jobs, So that was, for this year, I'd say 2020, that was my highlight this year, Blandford.
Yeah, I agree. That's that's one of my high points as well. We defended the titles. We retained, which was even better. We wrestled in such an amazing, awesome venue. It was amazing. I can't wait to go back, honestly.
Yeah, I can't wait for that one.
So, I think we're all done.
Yeah, else gonna throw me? Come on.
Huh?
We're all done.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, we're all done. Yeah, we're all done. So that was the 4th episode of CueBall's Bearded Rambles. My guest again was Big D. You can follow him on social media, Facebook. I want to say Instagram as well, as at Big D Tremor. I think he's on Twitter as well. And yeah.
I am on Twitter.
All right, so
Can't
he
tell
is
you
on
what it
Twitter.
is. I'm used to it.
All right, so I'll see you after lockdown, won't I? No?
Oh, yeah.
We can start kicking asses again. Oh, follow Garen Scare as well. Follow that page.
Oh, yeah.
So I've been CueBall.
Yeah,
That's been Big
yeah.
D. And hashtag, yeah.